And we can go right where we were just abruptly cut off when I was mid sentence. Sorry about that, time limits and all that good stuff. So we get a part two of what's the title of what we're doing when we go off track? How do we get back on track? And
Yeah. When life takes you off track, how do you get back on track?
boy, talk about being off track today. I've just had a hard time getting things out.
Well, it's Sunday, right? That's today.
It's Sunday, and
Yeah.
I had a killer workout this morning that I definitely felt the rest of the day.
Yeah. I woke up this morning. I was fearful after riding my bike 77 miles yesterday that I'd wake up and every ounce of my being would hurt. But I woke up and I felt fantastic. And it was really weird. So now I'm really scared for tomorrow. And the delayed onset muscle soreness that always hits me the second day. I'm like, holy crap. And if today was easy, tomorrow might be just either it's gonna be like I didn't do anything, or it's gonna be I'm gonna wake up and feel like I'm in a body cast. It should be very interesting.
What if you wake up tomorrow and you're just fine too?
Well, then I guess I need to start doing some more crazy shit.
That's right. That's right.
Need to go
Unfortunately.
further.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. So like when I did the bike ride, it's supposed to be 75 miles. And apparently I went a wrong way and I did 2 extra miles and then, which is fine, whatever. But down here we have the MS 150, right? So it's a 150-mile ride. It's 75 miles a day for 2 days in a row. It's this big party. And it was something that I've always wanted to do. And now that I've done half of it, I'm like, I'm not really sure I want to do the rest of that at all. But again, if I'm not sore tomorrow, maybe either I'm either in better shape than I thought I was, or I was hydrated the right way, or I don't know. But it's pretty astounding that I could walk just fine this morning and run around with my son. So I was pleasantly surprised.
Absolutely.
Good.
A good
Yeah,
surprise.
but that's one. Yeah, really good surprise. I mean, when I first started working out, like hardcore, like every day, whether it be biking or before when I used to powerlift, there was like the first 2 months every day where every day was a struggle to get out of bed. And then all of a sudden after 2 months, like, you just wake up and like nothing hurts anymore. You're like, this is weird. And then I, of course, go in there and be like, all right, let's max out on everything, try and get sore. And then, of course it was stupid, but
Let's
yeah.
really make the joints hurt today.
Right. Let's make the muscular and skeletal everything hurt all at one time. That's good.
Yeah, I'm still struggling with the skeletal on stuff. I've noticed that today. I've been trying to get some other exercises implemented in with the larger muscle groups. Unfortunately, that includes knees being functioned in it, and that's going to be a challenge getting through that one. Definitely.
Definitely, man. And the knees, like, I mean, for us, like, I mean, Corey, you and I are about the same height. I mean, being a big guy and being compact, and his knees take the brunt of it 100%. And I know when I first started getting up and moving, the IT band, those muscle groups in the side of your thighs and into your knees and calves were areas that really hurt bad. And a lot of times I thought it was a skeletal issue, but it was like a muscle tendon issue. And
Right.
yeah, it's nothing like a lacrosse ball or a foam roller really hammer that out. But then I also had skeletal issues too because my knees were bad. So it's kind of hard to distinguish the two.
Some of mine as I've walked, I never had a good form of walking or anything like that. And I didn't realize it until after I had already had, knee damage on top of being heavy as well. So it was compounded to where my knees are just destroyed. I remember it's been probably, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago. I went to the doctor because I had extreme muscle or extreme knee pain and stuff. And the doctor got the x-rays and sat me down. He's like, well, I have bad news and not so good news at all. And it's like, okay, what do you got? It's like, you have a torn meniscus. It's like, okay, so is that the bad news? He goes, no, that's the best part of your knee. Everything else is bone on bone. That's the rest of your meniscus. That's all that's there is what's torn. Everything else is gone.
That was essentially my same story 100%, man. Like I had one full tear and two partial tears, and the whole outside of my right knee was completely bone on bone. And I saw the x-rays. I'm like, holy crap. And the guy's like, yeah, man, if next year you're gonna be coming back for a new knee if you don't change everything like today, today. And he's like, I'm giving you that talk right now.
Right.
Well, this is after he called me fat too. So there's that. It
Yeah.
was definitely an eye opener for sure. You know, when you're like, oh, but I'm the strongest guy in the gym. Doesn't matter.
Right. Right. Mine, I was so heavy and I'd lost weight since then and then gained it, most of it back. But they basically told me that we can't do a surgery on you because of how heavy you are. You're too much of a risk. And plus, how young you are. If we do a surgery now, it's only going to last you, 6 to 10 years at best.
Yep.
You'd be on track for too many surgeries. So it's either you deal with the excruciating pain now until you can't walk, or you're going to be that way, towards the end of your life. Pick your poison and when you want it. Deal with it now or deal with it later. Either way, you're going to be going through what you're going through. And that's, I've had too many life opening stories. So, or eye opening, not life opening. Again, I think I got pregnancy brain today or some shit. I don't know what's going on. But
It's okay. We support your lifestyle.
thank you. I appreciate it. But I think getting back on track a little bit when you talk about keeping things, how you get back on track, is I think having some of that stuff in your toolbox of realizing why you're doing it, why you need to, or why you want to, whatever it is that you have to fall back on. That I know that my knees are ruined, but they feel a heck of a lot better at 265 pounds than they do at 459 pounds. I mean, there's just because they're bad doesn't mean that I have to be in as much pain as I am. And I think most people don't realize how much pain they're in, especially when you're morbidly obese, until you start getting some of the relief from some of the pain. I mean, it's
Yep.
one of those things where
Yep.
we hurt a lot.
Yeah. That I
Yeah,
think. Go ahead, Luke.
I've got a bad knee. I was goofing off at one of my old jobs, sliding on wet pavement, and I slammed into a lift. You lift your cars up, and I've got a permanent dent in my knee, and my weight doesn't help that. And I've noticed the weight, I've got almost 60 pounds off, and on occasion I'll still be in that pain, but it's nothing like it used to be. It used to be daily, and I'm gonna have to sit down a couple times before I get to the car. So it's a
Yeah.
huge difference.
I was going to make very, very similar remarks, man. It's just it. I mean, when you're heavy, you just accept the fact that everything hurts. It's supposed to hurt. And that's part of the denial or part of the fear factor in the whole thing. And you just accept it. Right. And you're like, it's fine. No big deal. Blah, 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 blah. And I know when I first started years ago, when I was trying to fix myself and I did everything but tackle my own weight issues and my eating issues. Like when I went and got my septum fixed and I did balloon sinuplasty and I had some turbinate reduction stuff done. And it was a life changer. I didn't realize how much constant pain I was in from my sinuses and sinus headaches that I had for 10, 15 years, that I just dealt with it. And the same thing with the joint pain in your knees and hips. It's just there. I mean, that, and then you overcompensate other ways. You're always leaning on something to alleviate that pain. So then your shoulders hurt, then your elbows hurt. And then you wake up, the alarm clock goes off and you just lay there in bed like, oh geez, I'm like, how am I going to do this? But then you find a way to get up and do it. But it's just funny. Like now that I can look back on it, it's like, man, all that time and effort I put into figuring out how to justify things. If I would just taken that and put just a fraction of that to like just doing something better or finding a better or healthier way to do X, I could have been at this point, 5, 10, 15 years ago. But I mean, I wasn't ready mentally. I mean, I wasn't ready to accept those things. And I wasn't ready to, have that proverbial come to Jesus with myself and be like, look, dude, you got to fix yourself inside and out and figure out why you want to do this and how you're going to do it and how is it going to work. And like, I know that before you get cut off, I think we've all kind of talked about what systems work for us, whether it's weighing yourself or being honest with yourself or keeping a journal, but you really have to do a lot of soul searching and digging into it. And I know in my personal life, when people have come to me and asked me what my advice is of getting started, first thing I say is, definitely go to find a doctor you know and trust, whether it be your primary care doctor or a non-surgical weight loss doctor, and go get your complete physical that way. But I also tell them, like, look, you might also want to see a psychiatrist and talk to a psychiatrist, go to therapy and talk through that and talk through the whys and find out why this is making you feel better. And maybe that's just me, and maybe that's just the psychology degree that I have, and maybe that's why I got that degree. I don't know, but I think that really helps. And I think that, you guys have seen it. And Luke, I mean, you go to your anonymous meetings too, but I know that when I did group therapy, that was the biggest eye-opening thing, is that my worst day is someone else's best day. And that was a kind of an uplift in a weird way, because I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's not as bad as I thought. One, and two, you're not alone in this. I mean, we're all struggling every single day, and whether people talk about it or they don't, that's a huge thing. And I think that's why when Luke, when you asked me about this, I was all about it. I mean, I thought this was a great idea, because especially us as men, us as grown adult men, we're the most stubborn, pig-headed dumbasses there are, and we have to talk about this. We have to normalize this, or else it's going to be like, according to the guys you're saying, like the guys, it's like, I ain't eating no damn tofu. What the hell is that bullshit? And then they eat it like, oh, what's this? Oh, it's tofu. Well, we'll call it something else. It's better. It's better than that. This can't be tofu, right?
Right.
But we're definitely the demographic. Same thing with like fertility and stuff like that. Like my wife and I tried to have kids for years, and we had to go through IVF, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that, hey, guess what? When you're in your mid-30s, it's a lot harder to get pregnant or to get your wife pregnant than it was when you're like 18 or 22 or 26. And I think that people just need to normalize this stuff. It's not voodoo. It's not voodoo, but it's not now I'm being you now, Corey. I can't find the words. But it's one of those things where we should be able to talk about this stuff. And here we are. I mean, like, we're all buddies now, but at one point we were complete strangers. For the most part, we still are. But it's so like refreshing and relieving to have these conversations, just to say, look, dude, yeah, I have a problem with food. I have a problem with weight. Yeah, my body hurts, and I go through this struggle every day. And and part of the video I'm going to make tomorrow for Fat to Chubby on my bike ride was that there was times where I was like, dude, I'm not going to make it today. I'm going to fucking die out here. Like, what the hell am I doing? Like, I'm like 38 miles into this 75-mile thing. And why am I even doing this? This is stupid. But,
right.
Then you get your head straight and you keep on pushing through, because this is something that you can do.
Well, and I think when you touch on the base of seeing a psychiatrist, I've talked to a lot of people. I've dealt with my own situations in a lot of way. And it's funny that when you look at, when somebody uses the word comfort food, how much definition and meaning can that actually be to somebody, that word comfort? I know that a lot of times, and I'm going to oversimplify it for your degree and your speciality.
Oh, please
but
don't. I am a simple man, trust me.
But a lot of things are just, it comes down to trauma. That,
Oh, yeah.
I've talked to a lot of people, and it seems like most people who have some form of an addiction or some form of relying on something else for comfort food or whatever, you can almost trigger back to stages of trauma and the mindset of where you were at that point in time, and you don't move on from that. It's it's really interesting to see somebody who progresses through these stages of life, but there's still this sliver, this whole section of their life where, just speaking out of my ass here now, but they may still be in that particular of handling a stress or a life event, still a 12-year-old, and what that 12-year-old related to, and just in a simple trauma, and realizing, that's where your mind's going to that I had a bad day at school. My mom gave me Sundays. I have a bad day at work. What am I going back to?
No,
We subconsciously can relate that.
well, that correlation is 100% true, and that's just what it is. I mean, that's what comfort food is. Comfort food. I mean, yeah, 100%. Whether it's like it's all it is like it's like situational healing, I guess you can call it, right? Like this makes me feel this way when I was 12. This Sunday from Dairy Queen or wherever you guys have, whether it's Shoney's or all the different places you can go to, you have those places that this is the one thing that I know, no matter what, no matter how bad my day is. I mean, the world can be on fire, but if I go and get this one thing, it's going to take me back to that place, and I can smell those smells, and I have those visuals in my mind, and for that brief moment, every spoonful, I'm at peace, and that does make me feel better. And that's something that's true, man. That's a fantastic point, Corey. I mean, like that's like it's like cracking the window open into any kind of food addicts or any kind of obese person's kind of mentality a lot of ways, because that is 100% it, right? And there's a lot of that. There's a lot of, okay, I need this to feel better, and then there's part where the other part of comfort where you just like it. You like to feel full. You like to have good food. And I know that when I first started getting my career off the ground and making money, I was like, I want to go like have all the good shit. I want to have the good wine and the good whiskey and the good steaks and go to the fancy steak houses and eat all the fancy stuff that now I can cook a lot better at home, but still, so there's a part of that too, kind of like living kind of lavishly, if you will, but really getting back to the food and the feel good, man, you 100% just nailed it. I think that little snippet right there. I mean, if someone is listening for the first time and they hear that, they're gonna be like, yeah, have one of those mind-blowing moments where it's like, holy shit, that's it. 100% it. And that's why I do that. And then, but then how do you build on that? I mean, how do you accepting that and verbalizing that is huge, right? I think that we all have those deep, dark secrets that we don't tell anyone. And Luke, you really, man, your podcast, man, with your wife was amazing. It really was. I mean, just the stuff you were talking to her, and like, I think that you were even sharing new stuff during the podcast a little bit, but hearing her reactions to that, I was like, everything you said, I was like, I've done that. I've done that. I've done that. I've done that. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's it, man. And then hearing her talk about it and her putting the kind of like almost the onus on her, like the guilt on herself, like how can she do this better for you? That's definitely sounds like my wife too. But I mean, my mind's like racing right now. So many different things now, Corey.
I opened the can.
It's awesome, man. Like it's just a whole different level of understanding of it. I mean, it's like, those are the things that I kind of knew inside my own head, but to hear someone else verbalize it, it's awesome, because that's exactly what it is. And I think we all go to different places when we see different things, or we have different smells, right? It's just a trigger for different memories. But yeah. All right.
Yeah. And I think
that's awesome. I'm gonna lay in bed thinking about that. It's awesome.
Yeah. And I think some of what I've tried mentally doing as I get older is I try to attach, knowing what some of those stumbles for me are and were, and knowing some of those situations, I try to attach more to my world now and try to mentally replace them. And, doing something with my wife or doing something with my kids, and I as long as I think about it. Sometimes I don't catch it in time, but that's my goal is, when that stressful day at work or whatever happens, instead of doing that, the other day I came home and I was done. I was exhausted. And my number 3, I got 4 kids, so I just number them because I can't remember names anymore. So, but my number 3 said something about, Daddy, let's work out. Okay. What do you, at that point in time, my mind right there switched to, I have to do this for her because I want her to have this memory. I don't know what her day was like. I don't know what it was. I want I'm giving her control of my life right now, because in that suggestion, she deserves it. Even though that's my exhausted day at work, I want to try to mentally hold that as my exhausted bad day at work comes home to working out. Replacing that of versus I want to go grab, my bottle of whiskey and ease my day of work. I'm going to try to attach that memory to that, but just getting to that point of realizing what those triggers are or what they have been in the past and trying to replace them, that's not easy. And I'm not going to claim that I've done that or mastered it or anything like that. I just know that's what I want my end goal to be. So that's the ritualistic habit that I want to try to start.
You did it right that time.
Yeah,
No, and honestly, man, that's why, I mean, for me, that's why I start my days off working out. I mean, well, one, because I know if I don't do it, then I won't do it first thing in the morning. But I mean, in my previous job before the firm I'm at right now, well, just in general life as a corporate recruiter or agency recruiter, whatever you want to call it, it's just like sales, right? So I mean, it's high stress, it's deadlines, it's hitting numbers, it's hitting time to fill, it's hitting this, that, and the other. So when I was in a commission-based job, working out first in the morning was my church, man. It's my gospel. I had to go do it. And I got in this like great Zen-like space, and I can come into work and have no stress. So, but by the time I left work, I'd be high stress all over again. But every morning I hit the reset button. And now it's just the same thing. But when I work out in the morning, I have that time, I have that hour, 20 minutes, hour and a half in the morning to myself, and I can think about nothing, or I can think about everything, or I can start planning my day out, or I can think about this. And, it gives you that freedom to do so. And, for me, I mean, my kids are still really young, and my wife definitely values sleep, but then again, she stays up late, and I go to bed early and get up early. So, we find what works for us. What about you, Luke? When's your preferred time to work out and get things going on? Oh, he's over there to you. He's down there for me.
Oh, I can change spots.
Oh, you're good.
I like going in the morning. I usually drop the kids off and at school, and then get to the gym. And it, like you said, it starts your day and resets everything. One thing I've touched base on before with in one of my episodes is I make the bed now. I never used to make my bed, and it's those little changes that equal big changes in the long run that make all the difference in the world. I absolutely like seeing that little thing, that making the bed. It sets you up to succeed the rest of the day because you're doing something, like that's something to be proud of. That's something to move forward with.
Yeah, man. That is definitely a good one. I don't make the bed. Every once in a while I do, but who says that? Were you listening to, what's his name? Jordan Peterson. I know he talks a lot about that. Jordan Peterson, he talks about a lot about making the bed and stuff like that. So that's a good one, man.
My definition of making the bed is I roll the blanket a certain way so I can get back into it real easy. Yeah, I get to that same spot. I want the blanket rolled right here, so when I lay down, it's that one little motion.
There you go.
Yeah, I wish it was that easy. My wife, I think we have like 8 pillows in the bed. So
my wife makes my bed after we go to bed. Yeah. Huh? My wife makes our bed after we go to bed. The sheets have to be a certain way so I can lay down and be covered up, and I'll be all comfy. She'll come in and be like, no, this is wrong. And she makes the bed. And it's like, damn it, I was warm and cozy, and now you're making the bed. What is
my
what
wife
is
does
that?
it?
Oh,
she's like, see this little lip thing? This is supposed to be at the top, and it's not. It's on the side right now. It needs to be on the top. I'm like, it feels the same.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure about you guys. Like, I basically sleep in my boxers or like a pair of gym shorts, and then my wife will come to bed like in a hoodie and sweats and like curl up into me, and I'm like, no, now I'm hot. I mean, I'm wearing basically nothing. I have one leg out and like half my body uncovered because I'm so hot, and I have the fan going on, and it's freezing outside, and you're in a hoodie. I'm like, I have like a cuddle period, and I'm like, okay, I can't do this. I'm sweating now.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. But look, A little way off topic now.
The way off topic now.
Well, that's what it's supposed to be, man. These are long
Right.
conversations. That's the beautiful part of it.
Well, I
We're
could
human
go into
beings, man.
this. My wife got she likes nightgowns. I call them her little house on the prairie outfits. And she's got this one. It's like a flannel, but it's super thick. It's twice as thick as a regular flannel shirt. Boy, she'll wear that, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so comfortable." And then 2 hours later, she's waking me up because the bed's soaked from her sweat. Like,
Yeah.
man, get out.
Yeah, sure. But mom does the same thing. She'll come to bed all like literally sweats, hoodie, socks, the whole nine, and throughout the night. And then she'll wake up and just basically a t-shirt, right? And be done with it. But then of course it's so cold the next morning. And it's like I can't relate because I'm literally always hot. But now that I've lost a bunch of weight, I do get cold now, which is the one side effect of losing weight that I didn't think about. So now I've dropped 80 pounds. Like I do get cold and I don't like that. I mean, that's the one negative of being healthy, right? I get cold and I finally understand everyone's hoodie obsession. I'm like, I never knew it. Like, this is dumb. What I mean, like I'd wear a hoodie when it was like 17 degrees outside. And I'd be like shorts and a hoodie and my flip flops outside. But now it's like, oh, it's like 55 degrees. I need a sweatshirt. I'm like, did I just say that? That's so weird. I mean, and even today, like I had like long, thick socks on. I've got sweats. I've got 2 shirts on. I had a jacket and I had a beanie on because my son and I wanted to play outside before, down here it's actually freezing right now in Houston. We're supposed to get the coldest weather we've had in almost 40 years. So it might actually snow tonight, tomorrow, and then Wednesday. So people are freaking out. And I'm like, well, this is the forecast the past couple of weeks. If you're a normal human being, you pay attention to that. And like tomorrow, like the one thing I get the day off. So the one thing I'm really doing other than being a dad is just making a big pot of chili and we're good.
Yeah.
I bet if you go to the store, there's no bread.
No bread, no eggs, no milk. End
of the world.
Yeah. And then, toilet paper, because I don't think people have stockpiled enough of that in the last year.
Oh, geez. Right.
But yeah, people freak out about it. Luckily, our local grocery stores here actually have a national disaster team, and they try to predict these things, and they'll stock up big times around that. Even like with coronavirus, they identified that beforehand. So when the grocery stores were open back up, they had like pallets of like stuff like tuna and crackers and like end of the world type stuff. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a great chain.
What's amazing is that whenever weather pops up, storms coming, and even up here in the Midwest, we all experience it all the time. But, the grocery store's always packed whenever snow is coming or a big storm is coming or whatever. Everyone's hitting the grocery stores. It amazes me that we as general society will prepare more for a winter storm than we will for our own health.
And there's Corey, always bringing it back to topic. Boom. But guys, on that note, I do have to jump off. It's time for me to be a dad. It's bath night, so I got to jump on it. Thank you so much for everything. This has been a great experience so far. So I'm gonna bounce out, but you guys definitely keep going. I look forward to watching the rest of this online.
All right, take care. Have a wonderful evening, guys. And stay warm down there.
Yep, do it again next week.
Yep.
Right.
Now, Luke,
then there were 2.
You have a chance to talk. We keep cutting you off all the time. We just run right over you.
No, you just sit back good. And like I said last time, I was more into listening. Like you guys started talking, and I was like, man, that's so true. And then I just kept thinking.
Yeah, but you're the one with the radio voice.
Oh, I don't know about that. I hate my voice.
And Zoom's telling me that we only have 10 minutes left.
Yeah, I was gonna say that went quick.
It did.
I got notified on it too.
That's the thing that really surprises me with these things is, that's a topic or discussion we had to start with is, well, this is going to make me click on it here. Hopefully it won't stay off. But it is, 30 minutes isn't enough time to have a much of an in-depth discussion. I know doing my own videos or whatever, you know, I try to get enough content out there, but a 10-minute video, I'm rambling, versus filling
Yep.
some space. You get two or three people on an input, 30 minutes, 40 minutes goes by in a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
And it's interesting.
Easily we could have an hour each to talk
Oh yeah.
on any one of the topic ideas that we do.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have any more input on, getting back on track when life knocks you off?
No, I mean, I think we touched on most of it. Like I said, just before I would, it's game over. If, something's not right, I'm done. I messed up. But I think a lot of that was um, me not wanting it because I was sick of doing the diet. I was sick of eating healthy. I was sick of working at it when it's so much easier just to, throw in a bag of pizza rolls.
Right.
But
Yeah.
but now, like I mentioned earlier, so for me, restricting leads to binging. So if I cut things out dramatically, when I fail it, I fail bad. So I do little changes that make big changes in the long run, and I just keep going in the right direction. As long as I'm heading downhill, essentially, because I'm losing the weight, I'm okay. As long as I'm moving in that direction where I'm living a healthy lifestyle, I'm okay. So if I do screw up today, there's always tomorrow. Don't beat yourself up about it. That was one thing I used to, oh man, I'm so pissed off at myself. Well, there's nothing we can do about it now. So take it and push forward.
Yeah. Yep. I think being real with yourself and knowing what you're doing it for and what your goals
Yep.
are in a realistic goal fashion, and keeping that easily accessible. I know a lot of times I get going in a direction and I get comfortable, I get happy or comfortable to where it's really hard to focus on, walking up the steps is such a pain. That's why I want to lose weight, is because it's so painful. Well, once the knees stop, what's my motivation now? I'm good. I'm
Yeah,
happy.
I'm
Next thing I
good. Yeah,
right. But
I'm
I'm still
cured.
not good. Yeah, right. Exactly. They don't hurt as bad. So now I can go back to how
Yeah.
everything was.
Yep.
I think keeping that stuff accessible for us as well helps keep things on track. It's, whether I also think
And
that everyone around you has to be on track or on
yeah,
the same team.
you got to have that support system. Like on my episode with my wife, I wouldn't be anywhere near. So I'll give you a little story. Super Bowl. I got a notification from a restaurant. If you spend $40, you get $40 in free wings. So I was like, babe, I'll do it and we'll have food for a couple of days. Right? No. She's like, do you think that's a really good idea? I'm like, well, we'll have leftovers. And she's like, do you think that's what's going to happen? So I canceled it, but it was close. So you do have to have that support around you. You can't have somebody that's gonna, like my wife, she lets me slack, but enough's enough. Like time to get back at it.
Right, right. And my wife does a really good job on, especially during the week. It's funny that she'll actually set up and, help me with all the food prep and send me she usually almost anymore sends me to work with more food than I can possibly eat, which is good because, it's all, it's salads, it's all
Right.
healthy options. So it's one of those things where no matter what, I have enough food. The weekends is where we get really out of whack. It's one of those things. Well, what are we gonna eat? She's like, I don't know. It's like, wait, I'm not used to this. This isn't my plan. I need this,
Don't
this,
give me an
this.
option. Yeah.
Right. I need to go this way. And then I watch the kids walking through the house eating Pop Tarts or bowls of cereal. It's like, wait, hold on now.
Yeah.
That's not right. So I think
Yeah,
having
man.
that whole team effort is a huge challenge. And I know it's a lot more challenging for other people than it is for me because my family's at least, partially there. I know a lot of people, that's their complaint, is their spouse is like totally against it, almost to a point,
Yeah.
which that would be a tremendous battle to be in. And I don't know what advice I'd have to them other than, you know, smacking them upside the head with a, you know, a 2x4 or something. Get you know, we're in line. This is how we're going. This is what needs to be done. Because I think in a relationship like that, when it comes to the other person's health, we have to be supportive. You know, it's one
Yep.
of those things where, you know, I'm I'm passive aggressive at times, as my wife says, but I also know that I can be persistent in a way of, you know, I haven't got her working out with me yet. That's one of my goals, is to keep being, you know, this is where I want you at, because I know once she's on board, then it's really hard for me to get off board, if
Yep.
that makes sense.
Becomes easier for you. Yeah.
Right, because well, now I have more of an obligation to do so, and I think as
Yep.
a man, you know, it's easy for us to follow suit on our obligations. It's
Well,
easy.
that's like me with my podcast, like the reason I put it out there was because I don't want to let people down. Like I've let myself down over and over and I'm used to that. But now I'm putting it out there. My family knows about it. If I were to quit now, they're all going to know I'm a loser and I'm a failure.
Right,
And I don't want to let those people down. But now it is about me as well. I don't want to quit. I want to keep going. I want to be happy and healthy. I know, losing the weight's not going to make me happy, but I want to live a happy, healthy life. Um, Dropping 170 pounds isn't going to make things happy, but being able to run around with my kids is, like fitting on a roller coaster with the kids, that's going to make me happy.
absolutely. And I think with that is, you know, we need to go ahead and try to wrap up before we get in episode
Yeah.
3.
Cut off
And
again.
yeah, and happiness is a necessary goal to have, and we need to realize what makes us happy and what we want to do, because I know we hit on this a lot of different areas and stuff, but you know, sometimes we fall back in things because that's what makes us happy or gives us that impression of being happy. I think we also need to realize that, you know, when you're off task or off track, you need to realize that you want to be doing these things for your own happiness and reaching
Yep.
those goals of taking the roller coaster with the kids, fitting on that, or being able to go hiking, or whatever the function is that you want to do. That's needs to be in a place that you're easy to access, that yesterday wasn't my best day, but
Yep.
today I woke up and my goal is still to be able to do these things. And it's those little goals, those little enjoyments. It doesn't have to be a number on a scale. It can be, you know, I want to go take my kids to the theme park and we're going to ride every single ride.
Yep.
That's a good enough goal. It doesn't have to be a numerical value or anything. So, on that, you
Yep.
have anything else, Luke?
Nope. That's it. Well, I mean, it's not it, but it's all we'll talk about.
Well, until next time, we appreciate everyone watching. Make sure to leave a comment, like, subscribe, give us any kind of feedback you'd like to. This is Trimming the Fat. I'm Corey.
I'm Luke, and that was Adam.
All right. Talk to you guys later.